The garage is maybe could. Do you think it's too? No. Like, how did you fit that boat in that garage? I didn't fit anything in this thing. So anyway, I was trying to see the garden better just to see how much of the garden does he actually have. Because, you know, I'm nosy. It's a big garden. I'm not going to say it's not, but... Ah, there's a wall. Never mind. Anyway, the mayor's trying to skip town. I don't think he's actually going to succeed, because, I mean, for Pete's sake, it's a giant boat called the Magnificus. Hmm? I mean, are we back? Did it die? I guess you're back. I can see that it's must have stopped. Tisk. Well, it's gonna be in pieces. Well, that's what I just said. It must have just, it must have died for half a second. Anyways, we got a new job to clean the monster truck. That's what you missed. Here, let's look at the last message because we can read that again. Another tap job. No, I guess not. Whatever. Yeah. And I was saying is, how does the mayor think he's going to skip town in that boat? Also, how does that boat fit in the garage? Didn't he say that it was, I mean, I can't check now, but... Whatever. Hey, another job, dirt finder, much obliged. Hopefully there's still enough water left in the river to ride out of this town. Nearly forgot. Should be that cursed, ungrateful cat show its face at any point. It's yours. I wash my hands of the thing. I remember what my mama and grandmama said before her. If you can't say anything nice about the mayor, don't say anything at all. Farewell! You will not be going anywhere, and I will be having your cat. So the search for Ulysses the cat has been called off, though not before we chased every whale goose out there. Even old Frida in the lighthouse claimed she saw him in the distance, speeding across the rocks faster than any animal she'd ever seen. So when she pressed her and asked if he had wheels, she looked down at her feet and nodded. Anyway, we were driving back to the base when a group of miners, furious at not being paid by the mayor, blocked the road and symbolically poured a load of concrete over the monster truck. How that solves their problems is anyone's guess, but it gives one heck of a job to do. This is gonna be... Anyway, I mean, we've made off like a bandit on this whole thing. Nobody suspects us. We now own our own, Oh, I should have looked to the mayor. I didn't see him. I guess that she's watching us. Good to know, lady. Yep. But not questioning. Do you want to hear some crazy theories about the missing cat that I've heard on the streets? No. I've also heard Harper say things. Doesn't mean they were true. Well, I mean, they were, but it was a rumor for a reason. But, I mean, she's gonna tell us anyway, you know? Whether we actually want to hear or not. Or if we just want to clean this awesome monster truck. But I'm gonna be honest, probably it's gonna look really dumb once it's clean. Not to diss the thing, but like... It's a monster truck made to look like Ulysses. the cat. The mayor's missing cat. Its name is Ulysses. It's fine if you weren't paying attention. Wow. It looks like it's working right now. But it was buffering for a second. Let me look. No, it doesn't think that... No, it didn't. It didn't. It's still going. Alright. Is it going on your end still? It was buffering. I did just see that. No, to be fair, it was buffering. Alright. I don't know what's going on. I mean, there might be an internet problem, or it might be a Twitch problem. Some folks think a shady organization is sacrificing cats to the volcano to prevent the imminent eruption. Oof. But I'm inclined to think it's on the Twitch side. Apparently, all fingers are currently pointed at Marvin from the old boys club. Utterly ridiculous, but it's gaining traction in rural communities. I hate to say this, but they're typically the ones that have a pretty good idea in this town. Oh. Meow. Yeah, I really do think this thing's gonna look kind of lame once it's clean. No offense to her or anything, honest, but... Like, come on. Okay, I don't want to think that, but I mean... I think I'm about to prove it by coming over here a second. If I clean the wheel first. Anyway, I guess in case it is my internet and it does cut out soon, Chris, what do you want to see tomorrow? It's a Minecraft day, so you gotta pick Minecraft. Just in case. Hopefully it's nothing. Well, I guess we can pick an easy options and the hard option. The easy options are I do Java Vanilla or Bedrock Vanilla. The hard option is I was looking at a new mod pack, and I might switch, and if you wanted me to switch, like, because I would probably switch out mod packs at this point, because as I've said, Stoneblock just kind of died. Bedrock Vanilla? Alright. Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. I should probably gather up some gold. We get gas there as well, but I mean, I'm more focused on trying to get other things done on that world, so it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, you know how just the other day I was mentioning, I was just asking you guys if them adding the vibrant visuals in Storms to the end would be counted as enough of an end update? like 2 days ago? For us to be able to go to the end? On Java specifically, right? Even if we never really interacted with it. It shouldn't be a problem, Tomas. Realistically, oh yeah, this is so dumb. Huh? Anyway, you know how that was a, okay, right? That we were discussing. And that, like, Tomas at the very least felt like, oh yeah, it counts. The end storms. Having to go to the end. You guys still feel that way? Just asking. I'm curious. 2 days later? I know it's like 2 days later, so yeah, you might feel that way. I'm still asking. I guess the question now becomes, can you hear me as well? Is it still going? Doesn't matter. Okay, I was saying, so you know how like 2 days ago I asked if you guys would count the end storms as enough of an end update that I would go to the end, right? If they add the beneficial end storms. You're on the fence about it. Well, you were the one that said yes. I was just trying to figure out if you guys still felt that way 2 days later. Yes. Well, I mean, that might mean that this September, depending on how much they add from their snapshots, then. Considering they just added it to the most recent snapshot. Specifically, the weird part, like, not all of it, but, like, the end storm specifically, and I was just like, wait a minute! I was like, that was way too perfect. I'm sure they were already planning it, it's just, like, the amazing timing, but it was just like, just... But yeah, that was what was on, yesterday, day before you, whatever, the snapshot. I didn't even realize that was going to be the case. I think they probably will. Just because they kind of have to after a certain point, or they will lose people. Especially now that they've started kind of like teasing things like, oh yeah, well maybe this is hinting at an end up, maybe this is hinting at an update, kind of thing, you know? So... It does nothing. It just looks pretty in the background. The baking community suspects that they made secret ingredient in muck and hamburger, but there's been a statement from Ella herself denying it, telling them to stick their celery where the sun don't shine. Ella claims that her burger's unique flavor is due to its extraordinarily high salt content. Sounds about right. Anyway, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it does effectively count to what I was saying. I don't know, though. Just like I said, I could see them having to, feeling like they gotta do something just because. Well, if nothing else, they keep their marketing people are certainly gonna make them have to. That they don't want to lose people because of their own dumbness, as far as an end update goes. That's the only reason I think it's even possible. arguably, caving cliffs was in a similar vein, right? They're never going to do something about that again, right? No matter how much people kind of push for it or whatever. Or like, it's hinting at this. But eventually it starts affecting your bottom dollar, and, well, you don't want to lose money. Right? I'm not saying necessarily Mojang specifically, or Microsoft, or whatever. In general, though, especially, I'm going to go here, considering they gave Minecraft Dungeons an extremely complex and fancy end. They're going to have to do something with it eventually, just because the fact of the matter is, they've made it clear it could be possible. And that is the dumbest move they ever made. I wouldn't necessarily feel that way if they hadn't done that. But I do feel like, considering the fact that they did do that, and then it was its own DLC, no less, that it's like, they kind of shot them and that was a couple of years ago now at this point. I think that was the point where they really and truly shot themselves in the foot enough. And yeah, now they're doing things that definitely feel more teasy, so people are getting excited and interested, and if they don't do it soon, I'd say, maybe not this next update, but probably a really soon future update kind of thing, right? They really will start losing people. But the thing that will be the reason why they'll definitely want to kind of hang on to it, is they'll probably start losing content creators that shell the product. Right? Because there's only so far you can go before nobody believes you or believes anything. I mean, fair enough. See? I mean, that's just it. At some extent, you have to eventually actually make do on the kinds of things that you've hinted or said or whatever. So that's where, to me, I see the potential possibility of them actually doing it. Because there's only so long you can tease before you have to do something like that. I don't think they're going to do a good job of it, but I do think they'll do something. And if they do it, well, I think at that point I'm probably going to look at snapshots and show all the things they've done wrong so that there's somewhere out there to be like, yeah, somebody can point it out. Or, not wrong in that way, you know? Like in a, for an architectural kind of thing or whatever. This just looks wrong, because nobody ever focuses on that stuff. So that's what I would definitely think I would do. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, I don't... Like I said, under normal circumstances, I'd say, yeah, no, they're not gonna, but they've milked it too hard at this point. So I do think eventually they're gonna have to. But beyond that, I mean, I honestly feel like the game, if you want to have a game that has so many different things that are kind of, how do I put this? The way Minecraft is, but they really also need, at this point, to some extent, with the way they've done the game now. Not how it was originally. To be clear, I think that if it was still the way it was, I wouldn't be saying this. The only other kind of update I feel like they really could use is a update that allows subtle, not like in-your-face obvious, necessarily, but just subtle things that indicate certain things are possible. This could even include the get into the end and stuff. And it could be something as simple as, like, you could find a book, you know? An anonymous book. Or have it be like, a book written by villager, blah, blah, blah. Give them a fit. It doesn't have to be like, it can be absolutely random every time, right? Lead into the element, yeah, or lead into the element animations kind of thing. And just to be like villager number 9 or 126 and all that, you know? Yeah. Nothing crazy, just enough to indicate things either exist or are possible. Right? I'm not saying, and like I said, I don't think to the point of like completely spelling it out, but you could, for example, have a villager talking about making a golem. We already know they're most likely the ones making the golems, so it's not that big a deal. But to indicate you can make golems, right? And then maybe have even a little mention of, like, man, if only I wasn't out of pumpkins. Because that's the part that's not necessarily obvious, right? Or, it's a little thing, it's basic, it's nothing too crazy. It doesn't outright tell you how to make it, but it's there. And that's kind of where I think that kind of thing would be logical. At this point with the game. I don't know about going all that way. I don't know about going all the way to Skyrim, but I'm just saying, I feel like if they don't want to do a tutorial world anymore, right? And they don't want to necessarily, like they keep adding things that are kind of sort of obscure. And yes, you can find them on your own. But if they really think they're aiming at kids, I think having something that is very minor, in like indications of it being possible or not, but just enough to be like, yeah, you know, this thing does exist. If you're aiming at a casual player, it's the kind of thing where it's like, yes, the end exists. But do they know how to get to the end? No, because they don't know what an end portal even is. They don't even know where to look necessarily. If you're assuming this person is so casual, they just picked up the game and they've never watched a video on anything, which there's plenty of people who have done this. They don't know necessarily anything. The subtle clues work up until the point that your stronghold is like, well, yeah. Illagers work, yeah. Have it be a book in the Illager in a manner. Or in a pillager. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a book. But the problem with the idea of the mansion is, again, it kind of looks right, but you'd have to know what you're looking at. It's big enough for the old way they were doing things, but now they're kind of just, I don't know. I don't think it should ever go to the point of just outright telling you, like they do with the stupid tutorial on how to build and stuff. Is this the number of Power Washer? Any chance you could get back to Tarnaville? Our Ferris wheel is getting super spicy. Yeah, sure, Brie. Roddy's biker shack thinks all cats are aliens, and they've been some kind of recon mission onto Earth. And now that they've finally got all their intel, they've gone home to report. Oof. Yeah, that's probably gonna be true. Apparently, we should expect an invasion of extraterrestrial supercats in a couple months. Lovely. Anyway, but my point was more like along the lines of, it's like, I think if you're catering to a certain audience, right? I hate to say it, but then you really and truly need to lean into it. But yeah, overall, I think having a potential book that just kind of mentions it vaguely for things, most likely things like golems or, you know, happy guests. Having a book in the Nether on how to form, like, or recreate kind of thing, right? Or in the Illagers. Illagers would be the kind of individual that would work out how to do this, like you said. But I would think in the Nether, just it'd have to be extremely random to find. a low percent chance, but a potential chance in general. And I'm saying this because the thing is, yeah. See, like, definitely for the gas and some of these other things, trial chambers. You could give, like, a description of something where at some point they, how do I put it? I think that's too much. I think it still can be, it's better to have environmental storytelling. Yeah. I go with environmental storytelling is okay. Especially for newer things that are kind of silly or, yeah. But yeah, you could have the indication on how to make a gas lamp. Or maybe, and like I said, I think they should be low percentage chance at finding. I think that they shouldn't have like a specific person connected to it or anything, because obviously you don't want to have like actual confirmed lore, but you can have this be anybody in the world. I mean, for Pete's sake, they did do that one dimension, right? Update where they had those books. Hello, Supreme. How are you? Sorry, we're discussing Minecraft. But considering that was a possibility to be able to do, it looks in that way, right? The concept of having a book. I don't think is ridiculous. I'm glad to hear you're feeling well rested. It's always good to hear. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's where I ended up going. With it. It's just. That, yeah. I honestly think if you want to have it be someone who's more casual, you gotta, well, lean into that a little bit. If you don't want them to be more casual about it, then stop like just either do the things you say you want or don't. Kind of thing, like. I have the cat tail there. But yeah, I mean, my own theory. Yes. Ask whoever the dinner's best. Are you inferring that nobody has good food here? Wow, that's bad. Wow, lady. Someone somewhere, probably out there, out in the sticks, has some real nice tuna steaks, and they're all holding up there for a while. To be frank, having a cat? No, that's not luring a cat. A cat might think they'll be home soon enough. Like, maybe an outdoor cat, I guess, but, like, sure, they go where food is good, but they also go where food is guaranteed. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, somebody out in the sticks, as you put it, might have some good tuna. But if they're not sharing the tuna, the cats will just leave immediately. You have to be assuming that this person is specifically continuing to feed said cats. Which would mean there's potentially nefarious purposes to this. As... It means that you're thinking that the cats... Or specifically how, like, they're being... Yeah, anyway. And by the way, yeah, now that the dirt is mostly gone, I'm sorry to say, but this is a kind of lame monster truck. Not trying to completely ditch, but or diss, but that. Like, it's a derpy tongue cat. It's cute, but for a monster truck. Anyway, all I was saying is... I mean, you guys can disagree with me, that's fine, but it just, I don't know. Like... It looks... I'm gonna be very rude here. It looks like a woman made this. I'm sorry, but it's true. Okay. I mean, that's fine. We all have our own tastes. I'm not saying monster trucks don't look like this. I'm saying the front being just a cute cat with a tongue that's just derping out like, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess sometimes I do, but and I'm pretty sure this is paper mache over the actual monster truck. Yeah, look at that. She's defaced someone else's monster truck. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Here's just some paper mache over somebody else's monster truck. Okay, I know it's a costume, I'm joking, but it's just at the same time, it's like, it's covering up most of the, like, sponsor, it's covering up, like, sponsor stuff as well. So... Oops, what? Oh. I guess we messed up. But more, I was saying, like, for a, it's not really well done as a costume. And you don't need to do a whole lot. Plus, this here makes it look like that's the actual thing, when in reality, it's kind of not. Nah, it's for if you've messed up on a jump or something. If you need to jump out, you know, and beyond that, just kind of... Or I have to get in from the bottom. Actually, to be more specific, think about it like this. Monster trucks sometimes end up on their top. It'd be a lot easier to be able to get in from the bottom. If I had to guess. I'm not saying oh, but I'm going to say this one. I could be wrong. But considering how... Yeah, it's basically an escape hatch. Which would be why it says oops on it. if you flip over, it's gonna say oops. And the guy has to do the well, I guess the girl has to. But no, I mean, for costume like it's a bit flimsy. It's not really well designed kind of thing. It's definitely gonna flip off, and it will tick off as sponsors because places where you'd have it if you're gonna have sponsors, because we clearly can see that there's sponsorships, and yet some of the prime real estate there is effectively covered. And if this is, like, I'm pretty sure it is paper mache, even though our washer obviously isn't doing anything. But, like, and like I said, it's a bit too, even with the monster, it's a touch too derpy. And even though she's going for this, it's for town. It's for town. It's like, what to say when you're a cat? I know you're going with Ulysses' town mascot, but like, I feel like there were better themes in the town so far I've seen. You've got some really cool monks. You could have done some sort of like Viking-esque, or in relation to that, they've got some pretty cool monsters, right? All on their thing. Like, the only person who seems to care about the mayor's cat is the mayor, so unless it's because you were specifically funded by the mayor, which it doesn't sound like you were. Obviously family friendly. So now that I think about it, what was she doing out on the rocks? Like, I get you would want to give her a drive, but like, make sure things are in working order, but that's kind of... I don't feel like that would be the smartest move. One wrong move and your this monster truck is in the waves. Especially over by the lighthouse, that would not end well. I'm just gonna chalk this up to her not being the brightest tool in the shed. Otherwise, I mean, I really gotta be looking at this like, the heck were you thinking, lady? Like, I can see going down the road on rocks, right? Maybe. I mean, everyone in this town is to some extent, but... I mean, you have a volcano, right? So there's plenty of places around here that are gonna have hilly terrain or all the kind of terrain you would want, right? So, why are you by the lighthouse? It's the most dangerous part. And especially with the, as Tomas put it, costume, right? If that's actually a costume, not her just sticking something on someone else's to be like, no, this is mine now. And you're not gonna go out on a ride specifically with that either. That would be... This is something that definitely would get picked up in the wind. By the ocean. So, as far as it goes for actually, like, you know, keeping your stuff in place and everything working in order and all that, yeah, I would say she's not the brightest. I don't think she's the dumbest. That goes to her supposed friend, who freaked out over the rumors about what was going on. He only found out after. But yeah, I would say to some extent, I mean, unless you're saying that, sure, you can go there, Smas, but my point is, would you have this, as you put it, clown costume on as you drive around in a place where it could fly off and just disappear? Unless you have no idea where it went. Right? For making sure the vehicle works and everything. No. It is not bolted down. Like I said, this is covering something else. Look at it. It is, other than maybe the windshield, it looks more like she kind of cut around the windshield. There's parts that are technically bolted, but it wouldn't be enough to stop it from going anywhere or causing issues. Because the main parts that would be important to try and keep it in place would most likely be here. But in reality, no, it's not. And we can even see that it'll most likely slip off, other than with this, maybe. But then the question becomes, was this actually on it as she's driving around too? Especially fondue. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's paper mache. If you look at the texture and how it's plastered and everything, so that wouldn't be enough to stop it from being, like, knocked off. See? This isn't like a coat. It says it's metal, but texture-wise that they use, it's definitely not. See, you can see the newspaper. And again, like I said, by the beach. That's more where I'd be like, it's very strange that she'd have this thing on it as she's going down the beach. And I know earlier I used things to just be like, it's not cloth, but the thing is, like with this, I really and truly, texture is king on a game like this. And in reality, you wouldn't be able to clean this at all because it'd be paper mache. And that's where I go with, I don't think she's very smart. You wouldn't want your paper mache creation, right? Out on the beach where it's gonna get wet. Heck, you wouldn't want someone to power wash it either. Like, the thing isn't waterproof. Not really. See, like, you can see where there'd be individual sheets and stuff on here. It's kind of weird, actually, that they chose to do that. I would say maybe she would painted it, except for the fact that you can see the things that make it pretty clearly, like, you can see this would be a line here of a newspaper, and then there, for, like, the shape. Yeah. This whole thing is weird. And like I said, I know you're saying it's a costume, but the problem is, typically for something like this with the costume still, I would go here with this. The fact this is called the pulverizer, you would still move it from under here to up here, right? Because you'd want it to still be shown. Yes, it's on the wheels, but it's typically in big letters on the side for a reason. So even with the costume, you'd still bring that back up and over. This whole thing makes no sense, other than, depending on how you look at it, she might have stolen her ex's monster truck. Potentially. I don't think that's it. And then covered it up. Otherwise, it's very strange how it's been done. Beyond everything else. Like, the more I look at it, the more I'm left with, this whole thing is kind of weird. Especially considering for a lot of this, I'm having to clean underneath the truck, which means that normally the truck doesn't have this on it. And yet, from the time she's had it definitively, the last couple weeks at least, it's got this on top. Yeah, you could go with the memester truck, but the whole thing is bizarre. Do you at least agree on that, Tomas? Like, why am I cleaning underneath this if this has been on it the whole time? Why isn't pulverizer put on where it would go? And plus, this is called side plating here. To let you know this would be the plating on the outside of the truck, and this whole thing. Screams like... Yeah, see? Like, on its own, sure, you could argue it's just a costume. But first off, yeah, you would move the pulverizer to out here so that you can see that still, because it's... You wouldn't cover it, right? Not like that. No, watch. Where are they coming from? Where are the other people? It looks like the supposed sponsors have been, like, crammed onto the side here where they shouldn't be, right? Like, you could go there, and yet they honestly should be more uniform and everything. Don't know. It's a hatch on both sides. And it's not underneath. We can see that. It says it's a side hatch. But it doesn't seem to be connected to the car. Oddly enough. The top hatch makes sense. It's like, yeah, you also get one of those as you go along, right? But these side hatches don't really make any sense. And again, they wouldn't really work. We can see that they clearly... It's like... And like I said, I think the biggest thing to me, the weirdest part, is just... Why would you have this on here as you're going around and supposedly down on the beach and everything? It would be... I'm missing at least 3 tiny specks. Well, actually more. Exhaust panel. It's gonna be over on this side. Is this part of this, or is it its own thing? It's its own thing, so... Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is super bizarre. Like, at first I was just like, it's gonna look super lame, it's gonna be dumb. But now I'm left with, so... Whose much truck is this actually? Oops, she gets this from because it's clearly not hers. What? Hmm? Now I got it. Did I actually get this part? Yeah. Roof rack. You'd be amazed at how much we can actually get around on these things. Alright, the spotlights also need to be cleaned apparently. We can see this one. Come on. What have I missed on this stupid thing? That's roof rack. Wait, it wasn't the spotlight? I thought it was the spotlight. Oh, is it just the roof flip thing? Right spot there. Alright. Shock absorber. They'll be below. We just see one. This whole thing is nasty down here. Vacuum the axle. Gotta get the shock absorber. Okay. Anyway. Doing that. There we go. Okay. Okay. Got the axle. Problem is, probably that it's invisible. It's that to get the right angle to get the dirt, I have to be in places I can't be physically. This makes it very difficult to be able to get the dirt. Like, everywhere it's orange is where a place where dirt is. The problem is to be able to get to that spot. Well, there's a shock absorber that we need to deal with. Yeah. Okay, so I gotta get the other axle and the underside plating, which we already know what both of those are. This is the axle in question. I'm gonna go around, and then the underside plating. Good spots, but the problem is a lot of these spots are places I just cannot reach comfortably. Alright, I'm gonna go from this angle, because I mean, we also have the axle to get, which... Yeah, see, there we go. The problem is because the meow. Alright. I'll flex this axle. Spot. Okay, the spot there. Then there. Go back around this way. Well, I mean, yeah, to some extent. It's just an unfortunate thing that so much of it is just kind of hindered by, I mean, now it's pretty much invisible dirt. I mean, I can see it, but I can't. There's only so much I can get done. Got it. You know what? I'm gonna move on to the next job. This is not worth being a thumbnail. You like the suspension? I wasn't complaining about the suspension in that way. It's really well. It's a monster truck, that's for sure. But truck looks magnificent. Oh gosh, great job, Doc. And just in the nick of time, we just had a fresh sighting from the Dredge Deep. In from Dredge Deep. Yeah, something tells me that that one is much cooler. Could be wrong, but allow me to introduce Transmaster, the world's first techno Ferris wheel. We're going to be powering it with our epic 10,000 watt generator that we had in the garage from the old rave days, and we'll sync it up to change tempo with every banging tune. It's gonna be mega, and when the break beats kick in, it'll be absolutely bananas. Get the old generator hooked up currently, so feel free to turn it on if you need a bit of rotation action. We'll hook up the rave generator once you're done. Bring it. Yeah, we'll do the Ferris wheel. I think I can complete that. But, you know what I'm gonna say there, that lady, is, prepare for, oh. Mate, I'm really sorry. Trying to sort out some heavy motivational tunes for you. But the rave generator is playing up. I'm good. Just stick with what you got, lady. Watch me. Yeah. You know, here's what I'm gonna say. I think the dude with the Helter Skelter. Yeah, he wasn't lying with his stuff, right? I'm curious. Is anybody hanging out? We gotta see. We actually have our easy way up to go and look around. Nope, nobody's hanging out over there. Oof. Yeah, the volcano looks like it's gonna kill everybody. You think we could reach from here? With our super good one? Nah. Shame. It's the end of the world, but you know, gotta have... Where's a gnome? You saw a gnome? Where's a gnome? I missed it. It could be. I wasn't paying any attention. I was so focused on the other stuff. Did I miss one? Entirely possible that I just ignored. Oh yeah! Oh, hello, Kevin. Okay, maybe guys were right. It was the girl. There he is. He really just hangs out and watches everybody get everything clean. No. I'm pretty sure he's the owner of the Helter Skelter, right? So he's just hanging out on top. I guess he's enjoying the fact that it's all clean. Good on him. Maybe he'll come back and hire us to clean the outside. Or inside, rather. The outside is so nice and pretty. I'm 90% certain that everybody is actually a gnome. At least when you see them to other people's perspectives. I guess the girl might be up there, right? Or maybe it was the girl who just hired us. She could have been the one who was spying on us last time. I was pretty sure it had to be Kevin, but he might have just been chilling. Realistically speaking. I don't think the gnomes killed everyone. And as usual, we are washing away some nasty, nasty grime that we definitely should have eaten into this. Much more than, like, surface layer. Yet our magic power washer comes in and saves the day. Huh? What was? I'm not kidding. We get hired to clear out some really nasty stuff. Oh, yeah. Gnomes. I don't think the gnomes killed anybody, I'm gonna be honest. I think the gnomes are everybody. Everybody has become a gnome, but they have no idea they've become a gnome. They've been gnomed. But they see themselves as normal. As the mountain in the distance just... ever rumbles. Rumbles ever closer to destruction. You know what would have been brilliant? Like a little extra piece in this game. I kind of hope they do it with the second game. Right? Yeah, Living Gnome Cup. True. But, I kind of hoped that with the second game, especially... I know it's nice to have no music and all that, which obviously I'm ignoring by having my own music here, but... well, that I normally use for Minecraft. So that we'd be using with O'Reilly. But... like... I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hope that you have things like little ads and stuff, you know? Like, maybe... I don't think it actually... I think it said 50 cents per... or whatever, pence per ride. Whatever it is. I can't tell what it is. Before, now it says it's 20. Is he competing? Anyway, point being, I think it'd be cool to have something like being able to have the funkin' tunes, as she puts it. Especially since half the implication is that they are here somewhere. Right? Somewhere. I don't think the idea is meant to be that they're talking to us. And that we just, you know. So I think that's something that could be interesting. I kind of hope that they go with nothing crazy necessarily. Like, I don't think they need the full voice acting kind of thing. I don't think that would matter, right? I think it's fine to keep it as a message. I think I'd love it if there was like an ad that you could have for the fair that you could have like play if you went like over to a certain spot and like hit a button with your power washer. But you'd have to be able to figure out where it is to kind of just get like a little extra world building. Well, yeah, like I said, I don't think I'd ever want to go to that point anyway. Because I think that part of what makes the game great is that nobody's actually talking to you, right? You can ignore the story and just clean everything if you choose. That's why I go with, I'd love if there was like some small interactables here or there. Nothing crazy, mind you. But like for a fair, right? Especially like if the lady goes, oh, she's trying to have tunes play, right? You should have like I think this is the kind of place where having like a just 2, 4, 5 second clips kind of things of music, maybe 2 or 3. Nothing too long. Of music on a boombox that you could find somewhere would be certainly, because you know she wants to share them, so you could find them to share them. That's the kind of thing I'm going with. I'm not going like full on like to everything's I don't think it needs to be that way. I think it's fine not being that way. But I think that it should just be something very minor, very small, right? That could, to some extent, elevate things up a little bit. Without having to go all the way to, like, full on everything. And by having it be that way as well is something you have to look for, right? It's good for people who like to look for lore and stuff and all that. But not overly necessary for the average player to have to deal with it. You see what I mean, Supreme? I think, to me, at least, that's a nice way to kind of have some lore stuff, or just have like some little extra things. Reward for exploration, you know? Like, I can walk all around this whole thing and see all kinds of things. Being able to find something that a little extra interactive thing, whether it be just like a door maybe that you could open, or a prize you can find or shoot. Like, I mean, if we assume that these are being set up, the concept that you could be able to smack something and splish splash and it does something, I don't know, I feel like overall, no, that's been there. I suppose that you just kind of got lucky on that one this time. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying is I'm not saying like it has to be, and that's why I'm trying to explain. I don't think that there has to be something like overly crazy kind of thing. I'm just saying I feel like, especially for how much we're able to like investigate and explore and stuff on some of these maps, like this one. I mean, obviously we can't go there, but like you can still go this way and go look around, right? I think having something over here, since you can go all the way back here, would have been nice. Or hey, look, we've got this little thing that's in a couple different places. Well, yeah, we got the invisible walls, but overall, they're not all invisible walls. And that's kind of where I end up going, is like, I don't think, like, overall, it's cool to people go, oh yeah, these are all things here, I can find them. Except at the same time, it's just, like, repeats over and over. The clowns. Oh my goodness. Well, somebody doesn't like these guys. And it's very rude. Or this used to be, they use this as a, they are the clowns. And they're a rock band. But, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like, especially since before these things are even here, we can walk around. I do wish that there was, like, there had been... And this is where I think this can be, like, to the point of, you could have where there's places marked out for each of them, right? Before they're added to the location later. So then that would kind of explain. You could even have it get like a little hint of an idea as to what you're gonna do later, right? By having a this be here or that and that be like not here specifically, because obviously, but like you want to have the area already reserved so you know where you're putting your stuff, right? I think that even would have been enough to kind of help. I mean, I guess there were boxes here, so then maybe that was what that was intended to be, but you know what? It was boxes. Yep. Oh, I do know. It's not that weird. I guess there were boxes here, so there was that, so you could hop up, but I don't know. Kind of something that would say Ferris wheel. That would have been interesting. Because, or, you know, heck, just something that has their name on it. It's gonna interact with them eventually. I just kind of, I love the idea. I'm sure that they'll... I'm gonna wait and see how the game is, because I got burned on House Flipper 2. Obviously, it's not by these people or anything, right? But it's not like by long necessarily. Like, this could have been an app. Findable. But I just want to wait and see just enough. Hmm? No, like I said, I'm only giving it time because of House Flipper 2. Which I was super excited, because I love House Flipper, right? House Flipper 2 just sucks. And people go, oh, came out, no, it wasn't early access. I mean, even though you'll find people who go, it was early access, like, it wasn't. And the fact that it started without features that they had added later to the, you know, the first game, and then were shocked that people wanted those, I just, it was like, oh, come on. I think that's where, to me, I kind of just was like, I'm at this point, like, even if I love the first game, I'm gonna wait now and see how the sequel is. Or at least I'm gonna try to find a place, just enough to be able to say, do I actually want this? Or am I gonna get super frustrated? I don't think it's going to be as big a problem with this because they didn't have such all of their DLCs for this game still is just basically the same mechanics and everything. They aren't adding anything new, they just added new locations and stuff. Well, for example, on one of the things House Flipper 2 didn't add, they had added. Well, here's what I was gonna say. Basically, one of the things that they had added later to the first game, but you know, they didn't add to the second game immediately, and they were like, due to your request, right, was the ability to sleep through the night. And this was even worse on this, and it was even worse though. Like it was a problem on House Flipper 2, House Flipper 1, because House Flipper 1, you still have some light. You can still kind of see. On House Flipper 2, it's way darker at night, so to really show off the lighting being somewhat improved. So the inability to be able to sleep through that and be able to do stuff with that really hindered the game. Another thing was, so they removed the mini games that you can do, that you do when you're putting in the plants, right? And basically made it a sicker game. Which, by the way, this was something that had existed from pretty much day one of House Flipper 1, so... And every DLC had had continuously in it. So, these are things that to me I'm just kind of left with. Yes, programmer has different ideas, but at the same time, if these are things that are kind of integral to your game, if you will, or have become useful, or will definitively be useful, I do feel like and beyond that, the story of House Flipper 2 is just so bad. Like, I don't even know what it's not a very... Their gimmicks were everything is customizable, and to a stupid degree, by the way, and I thought that was kind of cool, but then it's like the other thing was, and then the client calls you and they talk to you. It just was like, and you can't get anybody who's an actually interesting person. And you gotta be vague about everything. It just, the whole thing. That's where I go. I don't think everything needs to be voice acted. That's why I specify that. Because House Flipper 2, so much of it is. And it just was like, I don't really want to know much about the clients unless I'm actually learning more about the clients afterward. Like, especially for some of them that I definitely feel like we're ending up in a divorce after that point. But, yeah, we don't get to find out about that. No, we just have to see the individual being an empowered blah blah blah, and it's like, I don't care. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't care. Especially since it's like, I'm not looking for realism in that game. Of stupid people. And having to interact with them even though you don't want to. I suppose I could have just hung up, but I mean, the fact is, it doesn't really encourage that. So it's things like that that to me really put me off House Flipper 2. Now, do I think that they're necessarily going to do that with PowerWash 2? Hey, you know what I'm going to say? It feels like they saw PowerWash Simulator, right? Because they obviously did. And thought they could do that too, but they didn't understand. Yeah. Exactly. But they didn't understand why it works in PowerWash Simulator, right? If I hadn't actually played the game, I wouldn't have realized this, but I think that's exactly what they were trying to do, to be like, effectively, like, copy this. Because it works for this game, right? But the problem with that logic is it doesn't actually work for this game. What it is that they have just the person telling you more things about around the place, right? You're not choosing. And most often it's connected to the actual overall story, whereas that really wasn't. It's possible. My sister and I definitely, because obviously if you answer different things, you get different answers. And so for one of the people, right, from what I answered, I thought, oh, she's still with her husband, right? And they're planning on being out here together, and she's ruining the house, or the things that he probably wants to keep the one way. Whereas my sister was very sure that, oh, no, isn't she divorced? Is because she's having somebody new? Which means that the lady was cheating. It's entirely possible. An absolute perler of a track from Asterisk Swings that I can't wait to hit you with. You're gonna float away into the cosmos when you hear this. Just a sec. Something tells me not. Um... Yeah. I think the biggest thing to me was just... And beyond that, like... There were so many things that to me, and I'm just left with... Unless it's different if you're playing as a guy, like the dialogue for some of these things. In which case that'd be even more disturbing. But even, like, if you're assuming that you play it either way, right? There's just certain things that it's like... That's... interesting. And nobody's professional in that game. Nobody. I'm left with, like, one of the biggest things that really bugged me with the game was the fact that now, with the emails, right, for you get for the jobs, now those emails are accompanied with all these little emojis and things, and it's like, somebody's hiring you to renovate their house, and they're sending a bunch of emojis. Like, what? I'm not taking that person seriously. And plus, because of the way they did the story, it didn't make any sense that you were able to buy the houses once you're done. By not specifically specifying and kind of indicating that vampires exist and you're potentially a vampire as you go through some of the storylines, right? You could assume that eventually you just end up with the house, or that bad things happened. But in the second game, they, like, sanitized it so much that it makes no sense. Like, main character able to buy the house they loved after they turned it into the town's super center. That's like the main thing of the game. Oh, but now you can buy it. It's like, wait, what? If the whole culmination is you turning the town, the one build into the town center, and that's the game I've complained about, the whole having the same backgrounds right down to the same stupid burger. It's like you could at least remove the burger. It's that one. And, I mean, my biggest reason I say that is because... Yeah. Was because the fact is, the first game didn't have that problem. It seems to still have that problem. And I don't know, I just... At some point, you guys can decide that I need to go back and just try to relook at it and all that, but I honestly was just kind of left with, as a concept, it feels like it it felt like a cash grab. Really and truly. More than anything else. And that's kind of where I felt like it was just such a shame. Yeah. Now, I don't think that's necessarily what's going to happen with PowerWash Simulator 2, right? It actually looks like from its stuff, but the problem is, so did House Flipper 2. So I just I want to give it time. I want to actually see somebody play it before I get it myself. I have reasons to be left with, I got burned recently on a, I mean, by recently it was last year, but, or it's been almost a year now, but I think it has been a year, right? Not 2 years? I think it's been only a year. The only reason I'm even wondering is because it's just like so much annoyance with it. And the thing is, on the other side, like, Slime Rancher 2, I've enjoyed. I can't wait for the full game to come out, hopefully soon. Right? It's supposed to. For the full game, I mean. Yeah. Oh, I do know. It was the same. Here's the thing that bugged me with House Flipper 2 that isn't the same with Power Wash, right? That I noticed. And I can't guarantee it's true, right? There's a decent chance it's not. I can do this. It's been nearly 2 years. That's how much it annoyed me. 2 years, and I'm still annoyed at it. The thing that I didn't even really realize until more recently that I'm kind of was left with, and that's really weird. And to be honest, it probably means nothing. But there's, well, it's the original publisher, right? There's no sign of the original developers of the game. Within, like, acknowledgement of them. And they apparently still exist as a studio, right? And while there's certain places that say, oh yes, they did work together on this, like one place on Wikipedia, at the same time, it's really weird because nowhere that they credit their stuff or anything is it mentioned. And it might just be an oversight, but it was super weird. This is specifically for House Flipper 2. So you know. And to be clear, it's probably nothing. I've said it several times. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to video games and stuff, right? And it's the kind of thing that has made me wonder, how much direct involvement did they actually have? Oh yeah, it will let me do that. Totally. Guaranteed. I'm just trying to get it clean enough that I feel like I can get up there. At least it should be able to. But let's be real, this place is gross. Anyway, Mary saying makes sense too. But as I said, I don't know. I only even noticed because I was super because I realized I was looking between the two, and I got super confused because I was like, wait, why is it like the developer being different from the publisher here and not there, and you know. Also, apparently I just kind of ended up going on a rabbit hole, or down a rabbit hole. And while I can't confirm anything, it seems like the original team was working on the DLC that came out the next year, right? Or came out last year, I guess, at this point. And it made a lot of other things about the whole thing make a lot of sense, too. If you assume that Frozen Way made it with minimal involvement of the original developers in Kyrian Studios. Since they acted like it had been a long time since the last DLC, right? Whereas I had gone and I had looked, right? And it had been less than 6 months between maybe had been like just over 6 months between the last DLC they had done, which was the Farm Flipper one at that time, and the game. Which, I mean, even at the time I found super weird, because it was like... But assumed it was two separate teams. And I mean, obviously, if I'm correct, I'm not guaranteeing I am. But if I was... Then yeah, it was two separate teams. The original developers working on another DLC rather. Well, the publisher made a second game. But I will not be as likely to get the, how do I put this? I will probably not get the remastered version unless they do not affect it as much as they implied they were gonna. I just don't care for that kind of thing. It's like, I enjoyed the original game. I don't need extra story. At first I was interested. And I saw them talking about how they're basically, and it's just like... Does nobody understand why people enjoy a game? Anymore? I'm not looking for extra stories in the main stuff. The DLC did plenty of that, and there were plenty of stories to find already. You didn't need them to be voice acted and all that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I do agree. Anyway, the fact they're putting out a remastered version, and they're going on about how they're putting all the DLCs together and everything. At first, like I said, I was super interested, because, you know, I love the game, and, you know, I wouldn't mind having the DLC all work together. And I read more. Like I said, them adding extra stories and stuff, and I just, in all honesty, that turns me off. Maybe it'll be good. I'll keep my eye out and see, but, like... I don't need a storyline. I'm going to use an example from the second game, right? The same example, same stupid lady. This is the one that I feel was the most egregious to me. I just don't need a storyline. Explain to me why the lady is basically getting rid of the area that's for her kids, because she feels that they're grown and they don't need to come anymore, so that she can have a better room for her yoga. And making comments about how she feels that her husband should stop being a heart surgeon, because that's just he should be like her. And it's just like, I don't need stories like that. I don't care. Realistically speaking. Yeah. And like I said, I feel like this is, I really did feel like with that one, it would most likely end in a divorce. As you know, she's doing this behind his back and all that as well. And this wasn't like with the one where the guy just wanted to add a few extra things, but he mostly was, there was a different guy that did that. This is a full-on, you're completely changing the setup, like the way that it is. And the only person it benefits is her. And, well, like, I don't know. To me, I think you could just leave it at the story being that and it would have been a lot easier to just go, the second story is no longer as safe, right? The main floor. And that the decision was that instead of having, or maybe it was adding, I think it was removing though. But which is, I mean, if it was adding, it was even worse, but I'm pretty sure it was removing the whole space. The point is, you can just have where they choose to do something different with the space. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out storyline about how she's basically doing this because she feels that it's something or other. And it's like, this is the kind of thing that ends well, and presenting it like, and having it be that if you just choose to interact with the story, you just have to interact with this and be like, are you kidding me? And I mean, I felt like this way about so many of the characters, where I just was like, this is kind of ridiculous. I mean, you can go for my VODs. And beyond that, I was just left with, okay, I really don't care if it's supposed to be a dude, a girl, or whatever, right? But, like, leaving it somewhat vague and not indicating why or anything, to me, I also feel like it's like, I don't know, it really makes it harder to tell what the story is if you're trying to tell a story. Like, again, like I said, I don't know, I don't really care that much. I mean, it was something that bugged me in the first game, the first Slime Rancher game, but, you know, the second game explained enough that I was happy. I wasn't caring that much, I just cared enough to be like, what am I supposed to know here? Anyway. Quite that's where I end up going, where I just don't tend to get into sequels till I've seen. I'm gonna end up being that way now. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm just saying, like, overall, it really changes the dynamic for what am I supposed to be doing here. To some extent. Like, I mean, with one of them, I'm still wasn't 100%. And this was, like, one of the first jobs as well, for one of them. Where I was just like, I first thought, okay, dude's girlfriend is moving in, okay. And I was like, wait, is it rather girl's girlfriend? No, not sure. They just had makeup randomly and all set up, and it just seemed like, wait, they've already got it all set up and everything on both fronts. This whole thing was just like, I prefer specifying stuff like that. It's like, it makes it easier to be like, okay, so we're doing this. And I mean, I know this is me as a streamer, but even when I'm just playing a game, I do feel to some extent like it helps me kind of get into the space as to what am I doing. I mean, heck. One of the jobs, at first I thought, oh, the room that's all set up is the girlfriend, the manager, da-da-da. Oh, no. Because she's supposed to be so on top of things and everything. I've already said it. No, this is our client. Okay. So, manager girlfriend is not very good at this at all. And probably this isn't going to end well. Because, like, everything's still being done by client. The one who's supposedly helping us set up is nowhere to be found. In anything. So that's the kind of thing that to me, I was like, it really turned it around from, okay, yeah, this makes some sense. And I'm sure that the whole thing was meant to be the shock value, like, yeah, it must be. But for me, I was just like, okay, so this is gonna end badly. Like, if someone's supposed to be doing something, right? This is gonna lead to arguments, which will lead to, well, breakups and stuff. Because this is the kind of thing where you... Anyway, overall though, yeah, I do feel like it was a cash grab. I feel like the remaster version is going to be a cash grab. Dripping in potentially politics as well, which I'm not interested in for a game. And especially since it'll be in the sense of like... I'm serious, the whole... to make you be like... I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I don't care. I really don't. It's clearly done for the gotcha moment. But even then, it's not entirely certain of anything. Just... it's sloppy. And, you know, that was the one that didn't have the phone calls because it was one of the ones that didn't have the phone calls. Because, like I've said, I'm 90% certain it's because it was meant to be that you realize. But, like, all I was left with was this is a relationship that will end in a breakup. And now I want to see this breakup. Because, like, this is definitely going to end spectacularly. But I never got to see it. I just left with, I know it would happen. Because in this case, like, you're supposed to be, the renovator has been hired to help set up some areas in the uncle's old house, in which they're allowed to be using, right? So they can set up a content house, blah blah blah, stupidity, but, like, the one who's supposed to be working with us more is nowhere to be found. And the only one that did work with us... it's like, yeah, I get it, it's their uncle's house, but at the same time, it's like, how am I supposed to definitely know how things are being set up perfectly if the person who's supposed to be doing that part isn't there? That was where I was left with. I mean, that was the thing. To me, I still go with it's just... that's all I really was left with. And I don't think it's a good way to go. I think instead, be clear, be honest. And I mean, yeah, again, it very much just felt like so much of it was either cash grabby or it was meant to be like, I don't know, some sort of gotcha moment, it felt like. Maybe I was wrong, maybe they just were just... but I don't know. They left everything so vague to be... Yeah. And it just is the kind of thing where it's like, I either want to know more details or I don't need that many details. You don't have to go into the whole, oh, this is... Because like, most of those relationships end badly anyway, right? So I already didn't feel the need that much for it, but... Yeah. Anyway. Like I said, my bigger things, though, even though I'm complaining about that, was just also the fact that it's like, why would you have, why would you have people who are requesting that you come help them have all these emojis and things, and then it doesn't matter what job you're doing, you can always get the house after, but there's no explanation because in this case, you're just a normal person. You're not something that makes sense to be able to get this house later. Forever. Heck, even things like, so our supposed friend who we haven't interacted with in a long time and seem to honestly have a bad relationship with, but we're working with them and our parents are so... It's just this whole thing there as well. I don't know. I don't know what I'm complaining about House Flipper 2. Other than just... Even 2 years later, I just... Even if that was just the initial introduction to a game is so important. And I do feel like for a sequel game, there's just a certain level of doneness that kind of needs to be done. I mean, I'm sure Slime Rancher was more just as bad, but at the same time, the initial things in Slime Rancher were already there, from what I can tell. And it actually was still early access. I just don't remember House Flipper 2 being in early access. Yeah, it's interesting. I was excited. I wanted to play the game. But, yeah. It just felt like an entirely different game. All the things that made it a good game, the first one, heck, that made all the DLCs interesting, are kind of absent void. The different things that they could have added to the game to kind of really flesh things out a little bit. They had so many DLCs to choose from as options. They didn't do. And that's where it comes down to. I complained about the story because the story was just so frustrating. But it just wasn't fun to play. All the things that were interesting, it basically became a... Yeah. The thing is, and part of where I go with the whole, like... The first game didn't have that problem. The emails were just emails requesting things. It didn't... And yeah, I think the biggest thing to me was just Why would you add more annoying concepts and remove the more interesting one? Like, and this is something I would say. Any other game, the first game's the one that's going to have the limited amount of trash that you can pick up and things, whereas the sequel will just be like, you can just go hog wild on picking up trash and stuff, right? Whereas instead they would have more in-depth, like, mini games and stuff to be able to do first sequel. For House Flipper, it was the opposite. The first game has the intricate, like, mini games you gotta do to be able to set things up and everything, and you can set, like, a difficulty and all that. I just never bother, but leave it as it is. But you can do all that, right? In the second game, they removed the games and now you're sticker gaming that, but now you have to pick up, you only have a limited amount of trash to pick up that you can pick up at a time before you have to carry it over to a trash can. And it's like, in all honesty, between the two, yeah. Heck, here's another thing. The ability to check from your menu whether or not you've completed all the rooms or not. Which game do you think that's in? Yeah. The ability to check to make sure you've got everything done in an area. Or at least, they might have finally, but just like, which game would you normally think that would be part of being added in? From the get-go. Of having your task list and everything and know, okay, that's what I've got to do next. You think it'd be the sequel, right? If only one of them had it. That was the first game. You had to go from room to room when they first released the sequel to find where have you missed something. And they also removed the percentage to instead make it a star system. And it's just like, which makes it even harder to tell how much more do you need to get done to actually complete the house, especially if you actually want to complete the house. It never made you complete the houses on the first game to be able to get everything. They had a percentage that you could hit. And as you went along, you could have a lower percentage that you would do everything. And yet now it became a star system where you get 3 stars, but you haven't finished the house. And I just, things like that to me is like, nope, nope, not looking good for music, mate. Well, it's on you. No, the regenerators are goner. So sorry, mate. I don't care. Anyway. Point being, I think it's handled much better in PowerWash Simulator 1, these little conversation things. I think that's part of what they were going for in PowerWash Simulator 2, to be honest. That led to it being just all the more annoying in some of the jobs. Especially since they didn't do it for every job either. It's like the jobs that'd be like, well, why not? They didn't do those. Give a little clarification. And yeah, it's just like, gameplay-wise and all that, they just kind of... Oh, it's the same world, but... all the things that made the original world interesting are kind of removed. I'm gonna be honest. I want to assume that there's been a murder. You don't go out of your way trying to be like, no, it's not really. It's just like, first game understood. It had the newspapers and stuff to be like, maybe the guy is dead. For the first one, right? And unless they clearly played with other things as well. The second game, they're trying to go over the like, even though you're like, right. It's like, it's just, like, anyway, you know what? I shouldn't talk, because the more I do, the more I'm just gonna rant about it. I don't think you guys have a lot of fun with that. I mean, obviously I haven't played it in a while. Maybe it's decent now. But no, it's fine. I'm not saying you don't try to listen. I was just saying I don't think it's the most fun thing to hear me just go, this game's horrible. And I'm sure there's people who really enjoy that game. So they just are like, it's just like, or would go, but... Although nobody's ever told me to go back and play it again. And see that it's changed, so, you know. So there's that. But I think the biggest thing that says everything to me about whether or not House Flipper 2 was a cash grab has been determined at this point. The fact that their first DLC that they're actually going to have for the second game is a brand deal. This isn't like all the others where they've been like having like a specific genre or something to kind of go with it, right? Like House Flipper 1, you got like a diner's kind of... It had nothing to do with like any specific thing. First DLC for House Flipper 2, Scooby-Doo. And I mean, maybe you disagree with my take on this, but like... I don't know. That's quite a bit to me. But the only one you could even maybe argue might have been a brand deal for the first one was the HDTV. But it's still... It wasn't the first one. It wasn't even the second one, I don't think. Anyway. At some point, I'll probably go back and try it again just to be like, so did they change anything? And if they did, I'll give them a... Other than the things that were kind of obvious, like the sleeping, like, that was unnecessary. That was a, why would you not add that from day one? To be honest, I have a bunch of speech impediments and stuff and all that. My sister does too. So part of it is most likely I just am not talking in a way that's understandable. I try to, but I do acknowledge that I do have that kind of issue. Little Sis is a lot worse. But cuter. Anyway, I don't pretend that I don't. I try to speak clearly, but I do admit I have issues. Okay, the sign is... That part of the sign was done, but this one is not. That's what I said. So I do apologize that I'm pretty bad at talking. Anyway. And, it just comes from being... I did not get... I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, but yeah, no. I have more hopes for this sequel. I get what you're saying. My bigger issue is, I don't... I, how do I put this? Eh. Like, oh, yeah, fair enough. Anyway, yeah, that's true. I'm sure that would be a, but, I mean, actually, you know what? They might have a chance. But, I don't know, I think... I just have a lot less faith in stuff. At this point. Hopefully, though, you know, I mean, maybe... I do hope for the sequel to be good. And I definitely do want to play it when it comes out, as long as, like, I will probably not go too far in, but I do want to see, just like I said, enough. But I watch enough channels, somebody will play it, or probably even have an early copy. And I'll be able to see, is it going to be the kind of game that I prefer, or is it going to be the kind of game that I'm going to get frustrated with and be like, I just don't want to play. And that, at the end of the day, is all that really matters. Right? Yeah. And that, I mean, that's really where I end up going with it. As long as the game's fun, I don't really care about anything else. The game. I mean, I'm gonna go here. I mean, why would I? I'm trying to have fun so you guys can have fun, right? If I'm just complaining and ranting, I mean, sure, that's probably fun somewhat, but to enjoy seeing me just go, ah. But overall, it's not that great. And I know it. And honestly, I don't want to make you guys have to deal with that. Unless you guys decide to subject me to it. In which case, that's on you. But that's a very different issue. If I'm being honest. Which is why I've said, if you guys decide you want me to go play House Flipper 2 again, I will. But I do warn you, I probably will rant. If I'm being honest, it's part of why I like to look into a game before I play it generally. Games that I know I probably will play the full release of, right? Like, I know I didn't play the demo, but that's because my sister played the demo, and I honestly was left with, and I'd already seen like 3 playthroughs, was, yeah. I mean, sure, I'm not someone who they're probably ever gonna see, but at the same time, I'm not someone who, I have no incentive to be nice, unfortunately for them. But I do try to be, unless I really feel the game's a disappointment. I want to enjoy a game. Yeah. But, I mean, as I've said, I mean, I had plenty of games I enjoy playing. And I intend to finish. And as I was saying, I know I haven't done the demo, but I do know I want to play the full release of Energy and Barbecue. My sister did play it. So I just felt like, since I had already seen the demo in its entirety, I didn't want to kind of go in because I already knew where everything was and stuff. It wouldn't be a true reaction, but like I do know I want to play the full game, right? So I probably will get that when that comes out, and I will try to play it before I see other people play it. And have spoilers and stuff, because yeah. I only even, I had no idea. Just using as an example for a game that I'm just, I very much am interested in. I will inevitably, probably, I will inevitably finish Deltarune, because I like Deltarune, right? And who knows? Considering we're trying to discuss how we want to do the Switch 2, if we do not move our memory over from the Switch 1 and have to start over from scratch, I may or may not just play Undertale again. I like it. I know I've done it on the channel like 3 times, but you know what? Being able to do it for the anniversary again would be nice. If we get a Switch 2, of course. Discussing how we're doing it, right? I'm just saying, they also have to be available. AJ loves FF. What the heck is that? Oh, I do plan, I do plan, on trying to use that, but I'm gonna have to figure out things, right? Like I said, we were discussing how we would do the memory, and we're thinking of just not transporting the memory over, right? Which would then mean I would have empty save slots for Undertale again, and I really do like the game. And I have played it every year except for this year. I don't think I did it because we just no longer had any free save slots. But I like to do it because it's the game I played first on the channel. Beyond that, I just really like the game. I find it fun. Right? So that's kind of where I end up going with it. No. The second game I played was Breath of the Wild. Actually, technically, I think second thing I played. I know I don't have any of the VODs. I think the last thing I played was the second thing I played was Deltarune, and I know I don't have like any of the VODs for that because I just. I mean, I didn't really think about it because I just started at that point. I was trying to start kind of streaming. Um. So I do say I'm sorry because that just doesn't. Minecraft wasn't until over a year later. As I've said, I only even really started playing Minecraft because my hand was getting so. Actually, no. I think the third game I played was actually Skyward Sword because I really do like Skyward Sword, right? Um. So, yeah. And then I'm trying to think. Fourth game would have been Breath of the Wild. Huh? No, as I said, I just didn't really think about it. I just wanted to kind of, and since especially at the time, I didn't actually realize I could just export things. I thought I had to just straight up download and stuff. I just didn't want to deal with that to start with. And then I did just start downloading and then re-uploading kind of thing at some point. And then realized I could just export. To be fair, Twitch is not very obvious how things work. And I mean, you could still see how bad I was. If you really want to go there. Because I do believe I did start... I just can't remember if I did Skyward Sword first or second. But I do believe I have, like, at least partway through the Breath of the Wild. When I started. And part of the other problem is I ended up getting so sick so early on, right? So even if I had been going to just upload the VODs, about 1 week after I started, I got so sick that I was pretty much out for 3 months. Well, not 3 months, but like over a month. So I had to get better in 3 weeks. But yeah, I definitely don't have, I can't remember if I had done Delta at that point. I think I had. So, yeah. Just that first time I was, yeah. I was so brilliant. I ended up doing something that got me sick on my birthday, and then I streamed, so I'm encouraged. And then I pretty much lost my voice after that. Like, almost completely and totally. Like, I was having to use the text-to-speech for a while, just because I was so, um... That's fair enough. Anyway, point being, I would've, posted them, you know? But I wasn't downloading at the time, and I just didn't have any idea at the time how things worked. And things just happened. I'm fine. Like I said. If I'm being really honest, I know. I am aware. I was saying because we don't want to... I'm gonna be honest, I think it's just because it would be easier on the servers and everything to be able to do that. Yeah, it's annoying, but I kind of do get it. And yes, I have looked it up myself. But I plan to... Hello, Mr. Kenji, how are you? I hope you're doing well this evening. Yeah, but since I plan to, be the person who mostly owns the Switch 2, that's part of why I don't want to transfer the memory over, because then it's like the other... You know? I don't take the save data. Well, I mean, fair enough. I hope that the day I get some proofs. How much else I can say? Or that tomorrow at the very least is better. Yep, we are clearing the Ferris wheel. There we go. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Tomas. Anyway. I'm gonna be honest, if I had to guess... It's probably just, again, that whole... Because they're trying to get around the people who were using the one thing. Right? As far as the Switch 2 is concerned. As well. Other than it would probably be less... I could be wrong, but... Well, no, their priority right now is just trying to actually get systems and games out. Realistically. Let's see, can we actually get into this? Not there. Maybe we can't get in here. I assume we might be able to just because... Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, see, we can ride the Ferris wheel. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. I'm so glad this isn't a game and not real life, because it probably would flip out. Well, City Transportation Network offers exciting pressure washer opportunity as its emergency infrastructural subway facilities. Lovely. The Ferris wheel may have surpassed my Helter Skelter as the tallest ride of Wingerloof Carnival, but can it cycle through 12 customers a minute? Maybe. Anyway. There we go. Theoretically, yes, I suppose it could. Yep. I guess at least the guy's realistic about it. As usual. Kind of weirdly fun. Although I seem to be walking. Here, let's actually sit down a second. Or at least pretend that we're sitting. So we can really see the whole city in the distance. We can't actually go there. But you know, that does show it is actually a city over there. It's interesting. What I love is I could jump off here and not get hurt. Yeah, watch. Whee! Not even a noise. We are magic. Is the one we just jumped out of? Yes. Maybe not, actually. Anyway, I mean, obviously in reality we're probably just some regular dude, but we have like some imagination to ourselves that is just incredible. Or, you know, I guess we could be an alien. You mean live live? No, it is spelled the same. It is a synonym. Well, yeah, life obviously is built differently, but light is not. Now here's a question. How far can we go? Load. Oh, I can't get around the pod. No! Oh, but I can't do that. That's kind of bizarre. No! I messed up. The daring jump. Safety. Alright. Can't wait for this to be underneath me, and then I'll jump to the next pod. Yeah, it kind of is. Alright. Going to clean a different section. Oh, maybe not this time. Maybe next time. Okay. Hmm. There we go. A different one now. Get more things clean. Alright. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Maybe I should be getting close to having this one be clean. This part here. I'll deal with on the other side. I'm honestly not sure what I'm exactly cleaning. Oh, this one's done. Huh. And that one's done now. Okay, clean that section there. Cool. And then obviously we'll have to do it from the outside to get the outside part, right? Alright, now mind you, I'm pretty sure that probably jump in once I'm at the top with that thing below me so I can get into that one. I'll work on the frame as well, but I think the frame can be worked on from the bottom. Oh, I fell into the wrong one entirely. Ooh. Ew. Oh, what's that say? Somebody was here. Let's go clean this a second. Well, I had to guess. How much of a jump it was. Right. Hey. Oh. Boom. Ah. Well, yeah. Okay, let's 2 sections of that done. I'm honestly surprised I'm not at 80% yet. That's how much I've been cleaning. Well, yeah, I mean, that would make sense. Because you can't fold for as long, because otherwise that would just be kind of... I mean, think about it like this. You jump 100 feet, right? The amount of time you have to wait for that jump on, like, in real life versus the video game, you don't want to have to just, like, even if it's great for, suspense, it's not really great for, how do I put this? You know? So it's not so much the folding itself, it's more like because it's got to take less time, so well, if you were to go for, like, accurate, it's fine. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, it makes sense because, like, I mean, think about it. Well, it'd be great for a horror game or a suspense game to have where your character just falls, right? At the right speed and everything. So it would really amp that suspense and everything. In most games, it wouldn't be that great because, well, I suppose Minecraft is unique in that, like, you're running super slow stuff when you actually take things into account. It just feels fast, so it also depends on, like, that kind of percentage of stuff, too. So while to us it might be fast, technically there's also the possibility that it would, in fact, be considered super slow in comparison. Here, I'm trying to get out of here. It's okay. You're not the only person that uses them. And since I don't have, like, chat right in front of me, typically it's not even that big a deal because I can't see it. I mean, heck, I have my own moving stuff, right? I don't think you've managed to get any of those, but... I mean, they're not, like, super fancy or anything, but, I mean, I do have those that move. They just aren't terribly exciting. Not explain otherwise. You know? Yeah. I've got that one, plus there's, like, one other one, I think, that has, like, a question mark, but that one, I don't think you've seen. I don't even know. I don't know how the Twitch emote system works. Yes, I have the raindrop one as well. That one was left over because people liked that one. The raindrop. If it's still there. I think it is. Yes. It's not completely obvious. I like to keep it kind of... I mean, well, I don't use them very often. I have animated stuff all over my channel that I've done. Including my background. I mean, obviously I've made it so it doesn't do that anymore for when I'm playing the game, so you don't see that anymore, but I mean, I do that. I just thought it was probably too annoying to see while I was playing, so I just kind of made it so it was easier that you wouldn't see it. When I did a, like, I mean, have you seen? Another thing, but have you seen any of my stuff other than just, like, when I'm playing a game? Yeah. Well, no, I do know that. Like I said, I don't know how it works with that. I know there's one that's probably because it's the tin slip one that I made, only because I was looking at it. I was like, it's kind of weird. I wasn't planning to do anything with it, right? And then I guess you could say Chris kind of made me feel like I kind of gotta do it, so I did make it. So there's that one, but that one was just like literally because, yeah. Basically, it's the. That's fine. But how do I put this? Yeah, the tier 3 one was just like, cause I was like, nobody's ever gonna do that. Chris just started to be like, yeah, right. So I made it. But that's like the only thing that, other than that, I just try to keep it more in general. Hold my bluff, I guess, would be more accurate to say here. Um, yeah, no, I do hope, I don't typically go like off. Looking view of the volcano from the top of the wheel, ain't it? Wait, is she Australian? I started wondering what she called mate. Cracking view of the volcano from the top of the wheel, ain't it? I can't do it. Especially when it's smoking like right now. Supposed to do that, yeah? Mm-hmm. Anyway, like I said, I also have stuff that I just you never see because it's like screens I just don't really I very rarely use. I suppose, I mean, I have no problem like showing them. I've done it plenty of times at this point over the years, so like if you're interested, I can show you what they look like, but I make them and then I don't use them. Half the time, just because I'm not thinking things through, really. Well, I mean, I do, but... Did you wish it was an apple? Oh, gosh. Well, hello. No. I was saying I've got other things I've made that are screens that I don't use often. I was just saying if you really wanted to see it, I've got some of those kinds of things as well. I just don't typically, because they're all animated, right? For most of them. I just don't have much need for them normally. So I don't end up using them. So I was just saying if you wanted to see them, though, I can show you. That's all. Sort of. Like, I've made a be right back screen, and I've got a technical difficulty screen, and all that. I have to actually leave. I do use it on occasion, but the technical difficulties, when I'm having technical difficulties, everything just kind of dies, so it kind of became a moot point. But I always make one anyway, just cause. I can, I guess. You could say. Give me a second here. Cause I should be mostly through this a second, so... You know what, it's fine. Let me pause the game a second. Alright, yeah, I can show you. As I've said, I don't mind. So like, this is my new Bree right back screen. Right? And then this is my new, or new by February, but technical difficulties. Other than that, I don't think I have anything right now. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've seen the background, right? Because I have it like every time. Like that. But I mean, I have all of those. Yes, bubbly fish. And as you can see, whenever I get somebody to like follow or something, I've got a whole bunch of alerts and stuff too. And I've made every single one of them. Myself. Yeah. Because I mean, thank you. But I just don't typically, I guess, yeah. It's, since I can do some art stuff, right? I can draw on my phone and all that. I just tend to kind of make stuff. I felt like I enjoy doing it. I mean, I draw all the time. You just never get to see them. For reasons, various reasons. I don't know. I suppose because I don't really have. But, you know, it allows me to how to keep my, like, heck, I mean, I've also done all my stuff for my mom. All the stuff my mom uses. Other than Mom's model. Mom actually figured that one out herself. But, like, for all of Mom's screens, I drew the stuff as well. But, especially since what I originally wanted to do before I just kind of gave up on the idea, because I was just like, there's no way I could do this. For the number of, themes and everything. And be able to do them, like, on a... How do I put this? Be able to get them done in a timely manner or anything. I just kind of gave up on the idea. But I originally wanted to do, like, a fantasy blog post kind of thing. Where the idea would be that I would draw that out. Why my character is the way the character is, or whether my model is the way it is. But, I mean, obviously they didn't end up going there and doing that. So, we're here. I got something. I guess technically what I can do is to get the full... things from the bottom, at least. Supposed to do that. I realized I didn't take it when I needed to. Come on, come on. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Come on, come on, come on. I can get through here, yeah. Ah. Heal. Alright. Cool. And then this one's done? No, this is the one I did not finish. Okay. Well, like I said, part of it just ended up being that how did I put this? Be right back is just an in general be right back, so I figured at that point it just is easier to kind of be like, yeah. And I do get you saying, but I just felt like a generic one is just better for that because I can be away from my cat, I can be away because I need to do something else. Yeah. It's easier to kind of do it like that. I don't know how else to put it. But then I deemed it probably the most convenient way to handle this. What the heck? Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the bottom and start cleaning from the bottom, I think. Oh, wait, no, never mind. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna clean here. Something like that. Yep. I mean, you can stand all kinds of things you can stand on. I mean, this is, what it is. There we go. Everything can be sand on here as long as it's got any physicalness to it. I mean, it should be getting to the point where I'll start being able to kind of clean the other side. In theory. Okay, cool. We're on to the other side. Part. Alright. So we're gonna start on this side. Of course, the middle kind of has to be cleaned if it can be. We do already know that it's a little... I don't know just how it is. I have to clean a lot more probably, but it's fine. Cleaning stuff is not too hard. There we go, that's clean. I don't know how much this is going to take to get this clean. That worked out well for me. But the front spokes definitely need to be cleaned as well. The rest of the way. I got another one of those things. Alright. I think I have to clean the back sides of these, which is why I haven't managed yet. But considering that's a lot easier to do. Or even just doing this. It's something. Go down here and clean this here. Alright. I'm not sure exactly where I still need to be cleaning. I just know I need to clean a lot. Alright, so I'm gonna probably head down to the bottom now and try to clean from the bottom, because I think it'll be easier. Oh, maybe not that, but... the A-frame really does need to be... There we go, that smoke is done. I mean, obviously it's not going to be completely done. Yep. Cool. Okay. Okay. Well, apparently I've got to get another spot there, but that's only one. Two. All the way up. There we go, that one's done. Hey, we're back here. That one done. That's clean at this point. There, that one's done. Okay. That one's done. Okay. Okay, not finishing the clean. There we go. That's clean. I think this is the one that's not, right? Yeah. I do see this. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Okay, I gotta do that one again. Oh wait, no, never mind. And then this should be the last one, I think. Gotta wait for it to come all the way back around, make sure that's... yeah. Only one left on this side, though. But since I only have, like, a few to get, I can make sure the pods are clean, and then I can do the other side. I do believe these also do somewhat need some cleaning. Like that one on the inside. Yeah, the pod frame does need cleaning. But once we're at the point where we just need to clean the pod frames, that'll be a lot easier. We should be getting close. Bow, 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 wow, wow. Alright. There, so this side is done, right? Let me start by getting these done, I guess. Okay. Cool. That was easy enough. Oh, it was not gonna be finished. There we go. I was gonna be like, ah, it's not gonna be finished. All the way up. There we go. All the way up. Go. All the way Come on, come on, come on. That one might be a little bit dirtier than the others. I'll have to come back to that one. Okay. Okay, let's just kind of clean this like this. Or just let this be like that. Kind of hold still a second. Okay. There we go. That was done. I guess technically this is a place where, what's the one? Let's see. The nozzle clip. I probably should try and see, but... I mean, my big focus, though, is to try and figure out which one was it. I think it was this one. This is just like... Again, it's the same one. What was done? Where was it? R? Yeah. There we go. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Kinda just clean like that. Apparently that one wasn't enough. There we go. That one's clean. Alright, there we go, that one's done. There's not too many more. There we go. Is this the one? Yeah, that is the one. Come on. I don't know where it is. You know, it's gotta be on this side. Come on. It's the entire thing for that one spot. Well, I got the smoke, but I didn't get that part. I almost have it. I'm following it so I can know exactly when to go ahead and start again, so I'm gonna take a drink while I'm doing this. I do need to finish soon, but I'm almost done, so I can kind of feel like, yeah, I'm almost there. I mean, it is cleaner. The other one is that one, so it should probably be the one after that, but I'm not 100%. Because, I mean, I think there is more than one, yeah, there's like 2 yellow ones, but... We clean around that side. We know it's this one. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so these are all done. Whew, that's all done. Yeah, I've got a spot there. Alright, that one's done. You can see a spot there. Probably means that I need to look around the outside. Yeah. So we can clean farther and higher. That part's done. Okay, that one's done. There's a spot near there. Spot down here. There. There. It's gonna be like in a spot I can't see. Yeah. Alright, let me get these. There we go. I just don't see any spots left. Other than minor spots. Oh, there it is. There we go. I was gonna be like, I don't see anything, so it's gotta be somewhere stupid, and it was. Alright, okay. And of course these as well. Okay, I see a spot up there, so I just gotta hop up. Alright, we've gotten the bottom of this thing, so getting to top is pretty easy. There we go. Can't imagine there's much left, to be honest. So to support pod frames. Yeah, that sounds alright. Alright, I think the yellow pod, not that one. Oh, yeah, actually that one. Okay. I guess it's a good place to start as any. Alright. Clean the rest of the way. Come on, clean the pod. There you go. Alright, what about from the other side? I mean, I could see here on this one. Come on. There we go. Got it. Cool. So that's 2 pod frames in a pod, so I only have 6 more. I'm gonna have to guess. This one looks like it's got a pod frame. It does not. Can't hop on this side. I need to be in the thing to be able to kind of keep cleaning it. Okay. Phew! What the heck? I guess maybe right now it's like, no, we don't want to get caught. Cleaning? Oh, this pod frame is fine. What about these? That one's fine too. Okay. Okay. Since I don't think that one is it. Nope, that one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. Aha. Got one of them. I've got 4 left. Oh, it's just on the side for that one. Okay, that one's done. Nope, not that one. I'm only missing 2, so... Alright. This one is one of them. I think this one's problem started with being on top. Okay, the spot's right there. And then that one's fine. Hello, Knight. I'm about to finish. Or not. I mean, dude, look at the time. My cat's not crying yet, but he really should be. That's fine. But yeah, I'm just literally trying to finish the last little bit of this I don't think I can get anywhere to have an actual really good image of this. Realistically speaking, I don't think I can. No matter how much I'd like to. I feel like... Oh, I guess technically... I'm supposed to do it like... how far back can we go on this? Can I get on top of that? Surely I can. Yeah. That's too close still. I really want to be from a better position for this. Well, I suppose technically if I use this thing from a distance... Right? Yeah, I'm just trying to pick the best position to kind of take the picture from right now. I think a little bit higher. Yeah, I can't do enough to really move it out of the way, though. Alright. Let me see how this is. I can do a better one than that. I'll do. Yeah, no, I just gotta be able to see what I'm doing. Alright, I mean, unless it gives me a better one from the side. Actually pretty impressive to watch as it goes along. But no, I think mine's better. Yeah. The fence wheel is roasting. You're a legend. Just in the nick of time, too. With the rave generator blown, we had to stick to the original one, and the classic side of the artwork really fits with the slower pace. Techno Ferris wheel was probably a terrible idea anyway, so I'm tuning my attention to the Cracker's Keep, the world's first techno caterpillar coaster. By the way, I'm 90% certain that person's supposed to, that Bree Strobe is supposed to be Australian. In case you're curious. Yeah. Here's some of the things, like, at first I thought it was just like, The more I went along, I'm like, this is, well, not this one, because this is Kim, but, like, all the others are her. So, you know, me, I'm really sorry about trying to sort out hearing motivational tunes for you, but the rave generator is playing up. I just kind of figured it was like the rave stuff kind of thing. Absolute perler of a track. Like, the more you go through, the more it's like, cracking view of the volcano from the top of the wheel, ain't it? That shit was smoking like that. You can tell me I'm wrong. That's totally fine. I don't care that much. I'm just like, like, But like I said, at first I honestly just thought... I'm not saying that, actually. That's why I said stereotypically Australian. And a lot of media is, I'm not, like, trying to make you... But I'm just saying, like, it's, yeah, it's like in media you'll see it. But I'm not saying, like, it's an actual thing. I was just saying, I feel like it's stereotypically to that point. And at first I was just like, But I honestly was more thinking just the rave culture, da da da. But then it's just like, it goes, like, I don't know. Alright, I am going to click on this, but we're not finishing this. This is going to be way too big. Owing to the steady reputational rise of the Buckingham Caldera City Transportation Network, it's excited to announce the reopening of its subway link to the vibrant town. We'd like you to deep clean, well, the platform area and ahead in the grand unveiling. Please note that whilst much of the graffiti in the facility could be suppressed artistic merit, we would like you to remove it all. Okay, I'm just looking at it. But I was gonna say, like, beyond that, like, her name being the way it's done and everything, it really does scream. But again, I don't think that it necessarily actually... Perhaps you would like some interesting statistics on our railroad systems while you work. Not really, but you're gonna make me listen anyway. But we're good for the moment. We're just kind of cleaning the floor a little bit. Fine. Notice, this is a reopening. This isn't a... And it's underground. There's places I do question, but for a place like this... Plus, people continue to come in, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna walk through and just kind of show. I mean, it's a good thing that, nothing's working right now for the lobby area, but... Like, I mean, look, you've got things that clearly point towards... People have come in and done things, right? City Stadium, or City Caldera Tour. A local... Can't really read that. This is just covered in over and over and over again, right? In all honesty, the concept really is just kind of... Well, there might have been. I think I could get a better look at some of these artworks. We are just carefully removed. Driving me nuts. Esther the Lord Sufer. Oh yeah, that was the one she liked. You know, that says a lot. Look. The last... Okay, here we go off-road with. If that's something that's, one of the main things in here, right? That means this place has at least been like this for, or they're been unused for... If you figure that it's set the same year it came out, if it's 2018, right? That's nearly 20 years. That's nearly 40 years that this place has been left abandoned. So it kind of does make sense that over a certain amount of time it would, in fact, be, pick up some filth. This isn't a recent thing. Right? think if it was meant to be more recent, yeah, I would agree, fire, but 40 years, yes. I'm just saying that it became a very much less and less bustling place after that. Meow, 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 meow. This is also 1984. Look at that. Which means that Jefferson has been running. He's been mayor since 1984. Wait a minute. He's been the mayor of Buckingham since... He's been the mayor for 40 years? Depending on how this is set. Well, not just... So all of these posters have been put up in 1984. Let's see. What did she specifically say? I'd like you to deplete the problem. Yeah, a reopening. No, it's definitely him. Not like a junior or the... Because notice how people have covered over it with the graffiti the way it is. Well, no, it's not necessarily impossible. Plus, all the dude's gotta do is, like, rig every election, you know? And it implies it is a family thing, though, as well. But I would assume it's still referring to him. Although, not now. He's run. Before people could catch him. He escaped by boat. Don't know if he actually got caught or not yet. We'll find that out later. Possibly. I'm just saying, in a small town like this... Especially since nothing seems to be able to get done. The possibility that, he would at least have the ability to kind of figure that out. It's kind of cool. It's like, I did see the outside world! I see the outside world as a place you can escape to, but we cannot. But yeah, I honestly would guess... Before I finished because Cat obviously needs to be free. But if I had to guess, most likely he just kind of... How do I put this? Definitely shady things going on. There's definitely the implication of shady things. Multi-purpose, most likely because it would be made of porcelain of some kind, if I had to guess. If it's like super nice. Or if you look at the fact that it's kind of glowing, I don't think that's just the that necessarily. So the entire possibility is also that it is just basically lights are underneath it in certain places. But if I had to guess, it's more likely than not, because it wouldn't be stone. But depending on how long it's been, the possibility that it's either actually made of something like, say, what's it called? Well, yeah, it tells me which soap to use. But it looks like at the very least it is normal tile. Like, really nice tile. Like, the possibility that this place could have been used just... Especially with how reflective it is. Oh, there's the lights. Let's see. Yeah, that's a pretty good kind of gloss. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like, But I don't think it actually is the idea. And the fact that it maintained itself means or was maintainable, means it's also potentially possibly been coated so that it won't be as likely to kind of get messy. Yep. Well, like I said, it's pretty clearly 1984 is the last time this place was used. How fascinating. But in reality, the biggest thing is that it is connecting all the dots together. To some extent, that means. Because obviously, as we can see... Yeah. There's a high possibility of it having been glazed. I wasn't specifically thinking glazed, because that would be a little bit different. There are materials that you can put on tile, beyond being just glazed tile. That would certainly give a similar effect. I feel like this also has, like, reference to other games and stuff as well. Pretty sure. I'm looking through. So I don't recognize, but I do recognize. And then here she is again. Nice places. Wait, this also means that this has been a... Yeah. Meow, 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 mew. Meow. Yep. New of 84. Oh, gosh. Get the King Kong reference. Wait, that means the... Yeah, Kevin probably has been able to clean his thing and keep it relatively clean. Yeah. Local legend, keep winning. Huh. Dirty. Isle dirty. Caldera City and beyond. Wait, Caldera City? This is Muckingham, not Caldera. Don't bother. Unfair? Zero to 10. Don't bother. Huh. Interesting. Anything specifically to see here, or is this just in general? Looks like that's just in general. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I'll be done. Always lies. Dirty. Jeffrey Catman Jefferson. X. Now the question becomes... how long... Like, it looks like a lot of this stuff has been drawn here and been here a while as well. So... the problem is, like, we're moving from various areas, right? But the areas around it are clean until they're not. And then this is just kind of meant to be, I guess, like, over the time. But some of this stuff is, like, interesting. Because obviously it is meant to be lore relevant, right? So... obviously back in 84, right? He was already running for mayor at that point. And people already didn't like him because these all seem to have already been here. Right? We don't know who this was. L. Miller. Not really. But obviously they were really good back then, right? Esther was not... Her movie was not as much of a... no good, it looks like, back in 84, which is what the girls were assuming, which clearly that's not the case if we look here, right? As we have posters kind of everywhere, but beyond that, showing that people were kind of into it and knew more about it, if you will. We're excited looking at this, right? Yeah, driving me nuts. And Esther death. So I guess she did die. In her name, yeah. Or death. Obviously the mayor was already not liked at that point, so one does have to question how he survived this long, but beyond that, I feel like it kind of gives a good idea. Also, if we assume that this isn't for... if we assume this is Muckingham, then that means that Muckingham wasn't called Muckingham in 84, it was called Caldera City. Which kind of makes sense, because it does look like a city from the park, right? Unless you assume that he ran away from Caldera City and went to Muckingham, where people wouldn't know who he really was. Which could also fit. But depending, either the city somehow got a name change, which is possible, or he ran away to Muckingham, which doesn't seem to fit anything else kind of going on, but maybe he's different. I'd have to look what the mayor's name is. Yeah, I gotta go deal with my cat. It was kind of... I have to say, it's actually kind of interesting to look at some of this and be like, so... yeah, my poor kitty. He needs love, he needs attention, he needs food, he says, he needs to pee. I'm gonna assume this is probably clean enough for now. So I guess this is your chance to give a different vote for you guys. Chris voted Bedrock. Is there any difference of opinion here, Knight, before I finish? That's fine. I'm just saying Cat does need a pee. I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm probably gonna give up on that. Because I thought about it, and I'm kind of left with, I don't even know if I can get back in. In fact, I'm 90% certain I won't be able to. For the stone block. Because I know you weren't really there, but I tried to back out and go back in to try and see if I could get things to be better or play better a little bit, right? Like but like once I thought about it, I remembered that I had tried that earlier, and I had honestly thought I wasn't going to be able to, and I'd just be sitting there stuck. So I'm probably going to start a new mod. I have to download it. I have to remove the ones I have on, and I have to download a new one, right? As I said before, I never like that's a mouse. I never did start playing it, but I was already looking at this mod, so it wasn't like a. There is a mod I was looking at called Reclamation. I've been kind of looking at that for like 2 or 3 weeks now. So the whole idea is the world is dead and you must bring it back through stuff. Various stuff. I'm probably what I might do is do that on Monday. And then I'll give myself the weekend to kind of remove and get through all that stuff. Because I still haven't gotten around to removing Sky Factory 5 either, even though we're not going back to that because it annoyed me. Honestly, as I've said, I didn't mind it, but overall it was just like it wasn't. Well, I do that. As I've said, Stoneblock just kind of ended up. I'm kind of pretty sure it was the create stuff, but after a while, like everything's just kind of. Well, create plus a couple other things, plus the way it is. The very nature of Stoneblock. I probably should have been more careful with it. But I didn't really think about it, so that's on me. But it was fun, and it was one that we didn't really have to kind of work through in the same way, because I had done it to be more chill, right? But yeah, I do think that I am going to most likely over the weekend, unless enough people together want it. Like Saturday, because that would be the other day for me to do it. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna put it off just because it's a, and then we'll do it like starting next week. And like I did enjoy it and all that. I just don't think I can play more unless I start over from scratch. And I don't really want to do that at this point. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Technical difficulties is exactly what happened. And when I thought about like just kind of going, yeah, it's fine. I'm just not sure enough to be sure that that it'll be worth it. Okay, you know, that's weird. Just a second here. So these stairs go up into the... We can see the sky, right? Which is why that's all glowing. Same amount of going up. Yeah, it goes up into darkness. There's nothing there. And with the monster mouth over that one, makes me wonder what happens over there. Anyway, we'll do Bedrock then. It'll be easy enough. I was just saying, like, if you wanted, like... it's possible. I mean, this whole place is weird. It looks like bad things happen. And yet everything underneath is sparkling and clean. So that could just be our magic. Plus... neither did I. Just to quickly look at this with the sounds. There's some very interesting sounds. Like sounds of potentially things driving through a little bit, right? Like listening to the rumble. Yeah. So both like looking very dead and dreary. You can also hear some stuff. Kind of weird. Like sounds you wouldn't hear because, as we can see, it sounds like things are driving through, right? Not the cars, but like the actual thing. Whereas clearly there's no way you would have any subways kind of going through here, as we can see as we look around. So where are the trains? That's eerie. In like a whole different kind of way. Like we could see ghost trains. Yeah! That's kind of what I'm left with. Especially with all the other sounds as well. It's weird. And I mean, especially when you consider for some of the stuff, definitely the people who are here, they are not here anymore for some of this stuff. I mean, Kevin is, but that's Kevin. Although Kevin might be dead too, I guess, and just a ghost that always brings back his helter-skelter. Which is why it's always dirty no matter what he does. Eerie. Sure. Hello, Kenny. I am finishing. I'm sorry, I just stopped because of the sounds. I'm like, Anyway, how are you? Before I finish and leave you, guys. I hope you're doing well. Some of these things. Yeah, that'd be quite something. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Like, that's the sound of just, like, the brakes being released and everything. And it's just, like, or actually being, like, it's like, there's no train! There's no subway! There's nothing here! And there hasn't been for 40 years! Eerie. Creepy. Weird. Oh, yeah, I was just... We're listening to the sound of ghost subways. It's weird. Like, if it had said that there were, like, other tunnels that were still open, that'd be one thing, but it doesn't. eerie. Like, we can see, because it's saying that they're reopening the subway clicks, but there has been none. So she's like, hmm. Anyway, I do gotta finish. You are correct, Kenny. So I am finishing. That was weird. Yeah. Well, it does. And like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that you can see that there's no way for it to, like, for any, like, trains to go through, I'd just be like, well, obviously trains are just supposed to go through and all that. But there's not. Anyway, I hope to see you guys tomorrow for some Bedrock fun, because we'll do some Minecraft Bedrock. Just turning the music back on. Anyway. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful day / night / whatever it is for you. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for sticking around. And, yeah.